Completing the story mode in a LEGO game is a pretty lengthy process that can normally take a few hours. The levels are only so long because they're filled with lots of cutscenes, puzzles, and platforming that can really slow you down. My goal for today is to see how fast you can beat the main story in every LEGO Indiana Jones game, using tons of glitches, exploits, and whatever you call this.
There we go. I didn't press triangle, so I didn't switch it all.
Both of these games will have you doing insane things just to save a couple of seconds, like launching each other across the map and trying to hit this very specific spot just to skip the boss fight in Hangar Havoc, or grabbing a glass bottle at the start of Trouble in the Sky to blow up a door. Before I get things started, I'd like to thank BD1P for running through LEGO Indiana Jones 1 with me, and current world record holder Metal String for running through Indy 2 with me. I'd also like to thank the whole LEGO Game Speedrunning community for already having found the exploits and glitches I'll be using in this video. Also, this video is a multi-channel collaboration where we see how fast you can beat every LEGO game. Now, I'm not a speedrunner by any means, so I had to learn all of these exploits and glitches while playing through these games and making lots and lots of mistakes. These games are not flawless and lead to some of the most annoying, crazy, and honestly surprising glitches ever seen in speedrunning. So I'm going to go through both games level by level, and talk about how fast each level can be beaten and what strategies were used to beat it. Of course, starting with LEGO Indiana Jones 1. The start of the Lost Temple plays out exactly how you expect. You just go through the level normally. The first exploit comes into play at the end of this area. It's called a drop-in warp. This has you manipulating the camera and players 1's position to drop in player 2 in unintended areas. In this area, you can use it to skip a puzzle by having a character jump on top of a built statue, pointing your camera to the top right of the screen, and then dropping in player 2. This will cause them to spawn on top of the door, allowing them to walk over it and skip the puzzle. This exploit will be used a ton throughout this run. The next room has another big exploit. Instead of building the raft, you jump straight into the water, and when you get to the platform, you have players 1 and 2 jump at the same time and then quickly alt-tab in and out, which pushes you both onto the platform. This is called lag abuse. Alt-tabbing lags the game out so badly that your character's hitboxes get displaced. This can give you extra height to get onto areas and even allow you to clip through walls. This exploit will also be used a ton throughout the run. The next room starts with nothing crazy, but yet again utilizes another glitch. This one is a pixel jump, a random collision left over that you can use to skip sections. It's decently hard to get, but easily saves you loads of time, and like everything else I mentioned so far, this will be used quite a bit throughout the run. The rest of the level goes on pretty much the same as usual. Just remember to lose all your studs before ending the level, so you can save some time on the results screen. After all is said and done, you can beat this level in just over 5 minutes. The current world record holder, Chimkin, has beaten the level in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. But after lots of trial and error, me and Ben was able to beat the level and move on. Into the Mountain starts pretty simple with the boss fight having no major glitches or exploits. But after that, you can use this wrench build to skip a puzzle just by jumping onto it. Then you grab this torch, lag abuse onto this area, push a TNT barrel down, and use a torch you grabbed earlier to blow up the TNT. We had a bit of trouble with this one because of the annoying number of enemies that would spawn. The next two rooms can easily be skipped, with the first one having you do a pretty annoying pixel jump that skips the entire room if you can make it, and the next one being skippable with lag abuse. And to end off the level, simply grab the rocket launcher by doing some unintended platforming and blow up the car, skipping the entire final puzzle of the level. With good timing, you can beat this whole level in just 5 minutes. City of Danger can be beaten pretty easily, with 2 drop-in warps skipping the first 2 rooms, some lag abuse, where you have to maneuver your way out of bounds and end the level off with another drop-in warp, finishing the level in just 4 minutes. The next level, Well of Souls, is the fastest one to complete in the first film, and is probably the most involved one so far. It starts by clipping Salah out of bounds, using lag abuse, and if you carefully walk around the edge, you can get it to where it warps you to a section of Indy and Marion. It skips a huge chunk of this level. This happens because the room has 2 instances, one where you play as Indy and Salah, and one as Indy and Marion. Both of the exit doors are active from the start, so by clipping out of bounds and walking through that area, you can hit the second instance door, warping you straight to the Indy and Marion section. As you would imagine, this saves a ton of time and skips 4 rooms. At the end of the current room, there's another lag abuse skip that has you walk out of bounds to skip the next room. In the final room, pretty much everything is skipped, including the boss fight, because of an exploit that's exclusive to this level. It is called a snake skip, and happens because Indy tries to grab the closest monkey bars to Path to Marion, but ends up having him jump all the way to the end of the room. With all the exploits found in this level, it makes it the shortest level so far, with it only taking 3 minutes to beat. Pursuing the arc literally just has you skip the whole first room by jumping on something in the environment, using a pixel jump to get over the gate, and a drop and warp to skip a puzzle. Normally the boss fight at the end would take a lot of time, since most of it is just waiting around until you can do something. But with an exploit called box clipping, you can skip the whole thing. Box clipping is exactly what it sounds like, using a box to push a character through a door while alt-tabbing. This is insanely annoying to do, and took me and Ben a long time to actually get it right. With all these exploits done right, you can beat the level in 4.5 minutes. Now instead of finishing off the first film, speedrunners will instead go straight to the third and then the second film. Why is that? Well, since the ending cutscene for the first film was the longest, it made sense to finish it last. That way you don't have to sit through it once you've already lost control of your character. And it makes more sense to play the last two movies earlier, since they have the harder to pull off exploits. You play through the third one first because it's harder than the second one. The Hunt for Sir Richard is the longest level to speedrun, and that makes sense because it has a lot of hard to pull off exploits. It starts with a new exploit, box duping. Female and old characters have longer animations for picking up boxes. If you swap quickly to someone else during this animation, the character will be holding an invisible copy of that box. If you align them right, when the other player picks up that box, it'll throw the invisible box on a green plate. This makes it so all you need to do is get one box and duplicate it 3 times, pretty much skipping 4 puzzles you would have had to do in this room. Not only is this glitch easy to do, but it saves you an insane amount of time. Mixed in with this exploit that has the AI partner easily get to the top, takes what would normally be a really long section into something very short. The next section has a quick drop and warp with an insanely hard to pull off pixel jump, and then you have to make sure to grab the shovel because it'll be important later on. The next room introduces another big skip. It is called a transition skip. This is done by turning VSync off, allowing the game's FPS to get high, and this causes collisions and physics to break. If you kill a character that borders on a room's transition, you can push him through as they respawn, letting you get behind a door and usually out of bounds. This can be hard to pull off because it's really easy to accidentally trigger the next room. And after that, you have to navigate your character out of bounds, skipping the puzzle in the current and next room, and skipping you straight to the next cutscene. Now for this boss fight, during a speedrun, you're supposed to put Indy on top of the boat and use the shovel you grabbed earlier to destroy the boat's first phase really fast. But me and Ben failed at doing that, so...
I keep shovel though, right? No!
Oh, you don't keep the shovel?
Oh. Damn.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's fine. We'll just do it the normal way.
With all the exploits used in this level, you can beat it in about 6.5 minutes. Castle Rescue is honestly a nightmare because you have to grab this rocket launcher at the start and try to stay alive until you get to a certain section. And this level is filled with lots of enemies. The first couple of rooms don't have any cool exploits or glitches. When you're Henry and Indy, you can lag abuse to skip the first room and drop and warp to skip the next. Now hopefully you haven't died once at that point and still have the rocket launcher.
And if I die, it will be very bad.
Because if you can avoid all the enemies, you can use it to blow up the silver tower instantly and move on. But even if you make it that far, you have an annoying box clip that you can only attempt once, or you have the risk to restart the whole run. This level can be challenging to beat in perfect time, with so many things requiring you to do it on your first try, or you risk resetting the whole run. Which would suck, because at that point you're already half an hour into a 1-hour speedrun. But if you're able to make it, the level should be able to be beat in 3.5 minutes. Things don't get much easier in Motorcycle Escape. With a box clip skip in the first room, and then an insanely hard exploit that causes player 2's motorcycle to spawn past the first gate, it's kind of like a drop and warp, just a lot harder to do. It took me and Ben forever to get this to work, but after that, things are smooth sailing with a drop and warp to get past the second gate. 2 more drop and warps to skip the puzzle in the next room, and ending the level off with, you guessed it, another drop and warp. After all of that, the level can be beaten in 3 minutes. Trouble in the Sky wasn't too bad, just remember to have player 2 grab the glass bottle and player 1 lag abuses to get up on stage and take out the boss. After that, there aren't a lot of exploits used, just some precise platforming up until you get to the silver gate. Just use the glass bottle to destroy it, and then the last room could be completely ignored by doing a transition skip and walking under the car because for some reason there's a leftover end trigger beneath it, beating the level in 3.5 minutes. Desert Ambush didn't really have anything that was too cool, well except for the battle bus at the beginning of the cutscene. You drop and warp to skip the first room, lag abuse to skip the boss fight, and then literally just use the horse that's in the level to skip the room after. The last car section is played like normal. Me and Ben encountered a rare glitch where we both hit the boss on the same frame, which skipped a cycle in soft lock our game. So that's pretty cool. The level can be beaten in 4 minutes. Temple of the Grail wasn't too bad. The first room utilized this cool glitch that lets you do the book puzzle on the floor, allowing you to open a door without having to do any of the puzzle or platforming below. The room after that is probably the hardest part of the level, with this really hard transition skip that's super easy to mess up. After that, there isn't any crazy tech used, just a lot of beating the game faster than normal with very precise platforming and planning. And if that, we move on to the Temple of Doom. Shanghai Showdown was off to a great start. Just drop and warp with Marion to get Indy on the platform, and beat the section without even curing Indy. Then for some reason in the second room, with some very precise platforming, you can just jump out of bounds and into the trigger for the next section. The last part can be pretty annoying because of all the enemies, but you can utilize box duping to build the plane faster, beating the level in 4 minutes. Pancot Secrets is a tough level to get right, with just a lot of exploits taking up a lot of time and being really hard to do. At the start of the level, you use elephants to skip past the first bridge, and then utilize a hard to pull off exploit called Super Jump Canceling. This happens when a character thinks they're stuck somewhere. They'll try to jump back to the last safe place they were standing. They'll try to take the fastest route back with their jump, which usually brings them through walls. By alt-tabbing at a specific moment in the jump, you could stop them out of bounds. It is by no means easy and can be super easy to mess up. And then when you're out of bounds, you can easily make a mistake and accidentally die or come back too early. But you use this technique to walk Indy through the castle door. The next part isn't any easier. First, you jump out of bounds with Willy and try to navigate yourself to the end of the section. It's really easy to mess up because of how long you're out of bounds, and any wrong movement will mess up the whole thing. The next room is pretty straightforward, with just lag abuse to get past the door, and then just play the level normally. The level can be beaten in 6.5 minutes. The Temple of Kali was okay. The first room doesn't have anything too special except for these rotating bars that are very RNG reliant. After that, you just lag abuse to get to the door, and the next room is played pretty much normally. Just have some tricky jumps to pull off a short round. Honestly, this level didn't have a lot going on in it, and can be beaten in 3.5 minutes. Free to Slaves can be a bit tricky, but it's not too awful. You can completely skip the first room puzzle with a drop and warp. The next skip requires a really precise pixel jump. Hard to make, but worth it because it skips the whole puzzle. Just make sure not to hit the boxes and waste time like we did. Now this boss fight is a little weird. There are two people you have to focus on, the strong one and the guy in red. You have to make sure before you take out the guy in red to hit the strong one down to 1 heart and then quickly hit the guy in red. This causes the strong one to have 1 heart left in the final stage of the fight, quickly ending it. Just don't make sure to miss every dynamite throw like we did.
Oops. Well, that's not good. Oh, that sucks. What? How did that miss?
You can beat the level in 3.5 minutes. Escape the Mines is the fastest level in the speedrun, with it only taking 2 minutes to beat. It's pretty straightforward of most of the level being beat normally. The only exception is a lag abuse to skip the first room and head straight to the minecart section. And that part is played exactly how you'd play it in story mode. Battle on the bridge wasn't too bad. The first room is skipped instantly with some lag abuse that's yet again difficult to get right. The next room can be skipped with a bush clip just by using the bush's large hitbox to push another player out of bounds. Here it is used to push him through a door and into the next room. The next room requires some precise platforming at the start, and a glitch that has the other character being pushed into a bonus room, but switching characters right before it triggers causes them to be out of bounds. It's not hard to pull off. The boss fight is played normally, beating the level in 3 minutes. With the second film being completed, we can now go on to the final level of the first film and the final level of the whole run, opening the Ark. The first 2 rooms in this level can be with some really precise platforming. The same is done for the boss fight, except for a couple of lag abuse jumps. And as soon as the last cutscene plays, the run is over. As of the time of writing this, the fastest you can beat LEGO Indiana Jones 1 is 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 18 seconds. Chimkin holds the current world record. I had a fun but also kind of frustrating time learning how to beat this game as fast as possible. I learned a lot about how this game works inside and out, and it helped me appreciate speedrunners a lot more. It can honestly be kind of fun and addicting trying to do everything as fast as possible without making any mistakes. There were so many exploits used that just made me wonder how people even find this stuff out in the first place. But thanks again for BD1P for teaching me how to do all the exploits and running through the game with me. But it's time to move on to this game's sequel. LEGO Indiana Jones 2 is different from the first one in a lot of ways. While the first game focuses on having huge levels, the second one decided to ditch that and give every film its own small hub world with 5 mini levels that take place in 1 room and only have 1 objective. Even without glitches and exploits, these levels can be beaten in like 5 minutes. Oh, and this game is significantly buggier than the first one. I think I enjoy trying to beat this game as fast as possible more than the first one. For one, the second player is a lot more involved. In the first one, for a big part of it, I just didn't have a lot to do. But what really made it better for me was how crazy these glitches were. This game just feels like it was made to be played as fast as possible, with the quick and easy to reset levels. This game has 2 versions of the run, one with cutscenes and one without cutscenes. You can do a cheat code called NoCut5 that allows you to skip all of the cutscenes in the game. We'll be running this game without the cutscenes, and I'll be talking about the no cutscene version of the run. No exploits are used at the start of the hub world for Crystal Skull Part 1, but as soon as you start the first level, Hanger Havoc, things start rolling. Indy starts by tying up Mac and jumping over the first wall of boxes using an exploit called a wall climb. This allows a player to climb walls by jumping into them and requires a very high frame rate count to even pull off, like a minimum of 500 FPS. This is used quite often in the run. The second wall isn't a problem because Indy can just whip Mac over to him. The third wall he can just wall climb with Mac tied up. Next is one of my favorite glitches I've ever experienced in a LEGO game, a super throw. Indy can whip up other characters, and can either pick them up to carry them around, drag them around, or place them down. We can abuse this mechanic by picking up a character after using Indy's whip on them. To do a super throw, you have to press the button to place them back down, and as close as you can, press the attack button and a character will fly and spin across from wherever you are facing. This glitch is absolutely insane, watching the other player fly across the map. It also comes with a weird side effect. The character you have thrown acts as a moving hitbox, which allows you to deal instant damage to enemies and other players, defeating them in unintended ways and speeding up level times. This is called the infinite attack glitch and is insanely useful. While the super throw glitch is only useful for its side effect, if used against a slope and under certain conditions, it will launch them really high up in the air. This strat is quite simply called a launch, and is used right after you get past the 3 walls. You launch Mac into the air and have player 2 drop in and navigate him to an insanely specific spot. If done correctly, it'll trigger you into the final part of the level, skipping a huge chunk of the level, and honestly blows my mind away. How do people even find stuff like this out? This is so hard to pull off, at least for me. I can just never find a spot on my first try, and even when I do, it feels completely random. It's pretty cool that a super throw can turn into 2 other speedrun strats though, and it's fun messing around with this glitch outside of speedrunning purposes. But the boss fight is beaten like normal, ending the level in just a minute and 20 seconds. As soon as Doomtown starts, do a super throw on player 2 and have player 1 run towards the wall. As soon as player 2 respawns, have him get close enough to player 1 so he dies, thanks to the infinite attack glitch, and then do this new strat called a pause/respawn clip. While your characters are spawning and blinking, pause and unpausing the game will allow them to clip through the wall. The goal is to get player 1 and 2 to respawn clip through the wall and head straight into the kitchen. Once in there, kill player 1 again and have him go out back and quickly grab a shovel and dynamite. If he drops it close enough to the door, player 2 should be able to grab it and blow open the fridge, beating the level in only 59 seconds. And if you think that's insane, just wait till you hear how fast the next level is beaten without doing any glitches. Cafe Chaos doesn't have any exploits or glitches. The only way you could speed up this level is by using the gun drops from enemies. Either way, the level is beaten in only 35 seconds, which is insane. Motorcycle Mayhem is the first vehicle level, and there aren't any glitches that you could use to make them go any faster than normal. The characters do have certain routes that they can take, but that can depend a lot on RNG. I don't like these levels when playing the game normally, and I think trying to beat them fast and with accuracy made them even more annoying. It's pretty much the same thing for every vehicle level, but it can be beaten in like 2 minutes. Crane Train can be easily summed up by this.
Nice.
Sick.
For some reason, all it takes is for Indy to whip the boss and it ends the whole level. I'm not sure why it's a thing, but it beats the whole level in just 3 seconds, and I absolutely love it. As you can probably see, Indy 2 has been super fast paced, and you're both just doing non-stop stuff. I think it's a big reason why I prefer it over Indy 1's speedrun. After that, we move on to Crystal Skull Part 2 and into the first level, Peru Cell Pursue. Kill Indy at the start of the level so he can pause/respawn clip through the first door. Next, have Indy wall climb up to this wall and push down the box while having to do the puzzle. Then just use 2 players to build the puzzle faster. This would normally be done with 1 player 2 controllers, or 1 P2C, but the level is beaten in 1 minute and 50 seconds. The first half of Tome Doom is pretty much played the same as normal. When doing the puzzle, use an extended grab or E-grab to grab something with your whip that you normally wouldn't be able to. You can glitch out the boss fight to get multiple hits off from using Indy's whip, beating the level in 1 minute and 45 seconds. Mac Attack is pretty simple since it's just a brawl level. At the start, do the infinite attack glitch of Marion and have player 2 fight any enemy she's not fighting. Also have Marion jump to the other platform so she can kill the enemies without having to whip them down. And at the end, just have her kill Mac and the level is beat in about 1 minute 45.
2,
Oh.
3, 4,
Oh.
5,
Oh my God.
6, 7.
Ooh, that was close.
That was one of the fastest
Okay.
ones I've seen. Alright.
Damn.
Before we start Rainforest Rumble, we do the first glitch in the hub world, an E-grab to get a box. But Rainforest Rumble is another vehicle level, and this one is just as annoying as the last. We did have a good route planned out though, unlike most of the vehicle levels, and we beat it in just a little over 2 minutes. Dovchenko Duel is a pretty annoying level because there aren't any glitches used to easily speed it up, so it relies on perfect movement, and that's hard to do when you have to avoid a ton of ants being bounced around by the boss. This level just sucks to play in general, so speedrunning it made it more annoying. No matter how many times we tried this, we just always had something mess up on us. But it can be beat in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, Crystal Skull Part 3 is obviously my favorite chapter in this run, because of the glitch you do at the start. When you spawn in the hub world, you can launch Oxley really high in the sky, and get him to land where the last level door is. Then all you have to do is make him die, and then you can clip into the trigger and completely skip all of the levels in this chapter and go straight to the last one. Acator Ambush was kind of a hard one to get right, because it relied a lot on precise platforming from both of our ends. We are using a software to play co-op since LEGO games don't have online play, and it works well, but when it comes to stuff like this, it can be annoying. Every stage of this boss fight requires you to be fast and accurate. During the second phase, you can pause abuse to speed it up, but it's tricky to pull off. This level is annoying, but can be beaten in 2 minutes and 39 seconds. And after that, you should be halfway done with the game in just 20 minutes. Starting with Raiders, the first level is pretty simple. Just do the infinite attack glitch with Marion so she can easily defend Indy while he builds stuff to take out the boss, and have player 1 and player 2 move things around so you can take the boss out faster. This beats the level in only 1 minute and 55 seconds. Market Mayhem is a brawl level, so it wasn't too bad. Just do the infinite attack glitch on player 2, and take out enemies as they spawn in. The level can be beaten in about 2 minutes. Map Room Mystery is insanely short. Just kill Indy so he can pause respawn clip through this area, triggering the next part of the level, and then quickly jump on here as Indy and Marion to finish the level off in 51 seconds. After the Ark is another car level. Again, I don't really have anything interesting to say about these levels, since they don't rely on any cool exploits. The level can be beaten in about 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Belloc Battle was pretty cool. Both players are very involved, which I do enjoy. You can glitch Marion over to the buttons early without using a barrel, but not a lot of insane tech is used here. The level can be beaten in about 1:25. Temple of Doom starts off with a vehicle level. This time it's a bit different because it does require the infinite attack glitch. If you use the infinite attack glitch, you can use it to get ran over and instantly blow off the middle parts on a car. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, this level is beaten pretty much like the last vehicle one, and can be beaten in 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Monkey Mischief was pretty easy. The first half of this level was played normally until you grab the banana and use the E-grab to get the monkey to trade with you from far away, and then do a wall climb to get up to the other area and trade with the last monkey, beating the level in 1 minute and 44 seconds. Malice at the Palace is just another brawl level, and you do pretty much the same strat, beating the level in 1 minute and 56 seconds. Temple Tantrum is super quick, just wall jump twice and then push the boss into the fire, beating the level in just 36 seconds. Bullet Rampage sucks. I hate this level when just playing the game normally, so that didn't really help. There's literally nothing you can do to make this level go by any faster. It's insanely annoying, but that's all I can do. Just do what you normally do and beat the level in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. The Last Crusade, like Crystal Skull Part 3, has a launch that instantly brings you to the last level. Once player 2 is launched, they go into the bonus room, so that player 1 can be teleported over to them. Hop on a boat and sail over to this corner. Indy then whips player 2 and wall climb so he can get over to the room where the last level is held, and then pause/respawn clip to get into the level early. The last level starts normally until you get to the fourth door, where you do the same pause respawn clip trick you do in Doomtown to get both players through the door. Then the boss fight is played the same, but finally beats the game. As of writing this, the current world record is held by Metal String and is 40 minutes and 53 seconds. I had a really fun time trying to beat this game as fast as possible. I liked how the second player had a lot more to do in this run, and could really make or break how well the run goes. I also find the glitches and exploits will be way more interesting in this game. There are a lot more fun glitches you could pull off with the high FPS count, but thanks to Metal String for teaching me how to do all the exploits and running through the game with me. The LEGO Indiana Jones games are some of my favorites, and it was a fun experience pushing these games for their limits and learning how fast you could go through these games. If you've watched all the way to the end, then I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching. I need to kill you after this.
Yeah, no,
It sounded really weird.
I have to kill you. Cut the video there.